Larry, tariffs and the portions. This week, there was a very interesting fact that happened, that Trump tried to send an airplane with Colombians back to Colombia, and Colombia did not accept it. Then Trump said, okay, tariffs. We're going to impose tariffs and sanctions and all kind of things.
Yeah.
Then Petro came out and said, okay, if you're going to put tariffs on me, I'm going to put tariffs on you. Well, long story short, Petro, chicken out, and he accept and even send his plane to get the people. How do you read this happening? I have a very weird reading of this, but I would like to know, how do you read this entire situation that developed?
Well, it was foolish on Petro's part to think that he could stand up to the United States. Colombia has no leverage here. They're a little pissant compared to the United States, economically, militarily. They cannot stop. So, and I think Trump chose to make an example of them, candidly. He's hoping that the Colombian president would take the bait, which he did, stupidly. The Colombian president saved face by saying, we're not going to allow a U.S. military plane to land here. I'll send my plane to pick these people up. Maybe he served them lobster and caviar and champagne on board while they flew back. Who knows? But the point was, they're no longer in the United States, and they had to be returned. They returned to Colombia. So no matter what kind of lipstick Petro wants to put on this pig, it's still a pig. It's still ugly, and those people are no longer in the United States. They're now in Bogota, Medellin, Cartagena. So he got beat. The thing I guess I worry about is Trump, learns the wrong thing from a lesson like this, makes it generalized. It assumes that, hey, I can use my tactic of bullying others against the Russians, against the Chinese, and they'll ultimately cave. That's not going to happen in the case of Russia or China, for that matter. They're too strong and too resilient for that type of strategy to work. What was your hypothesis?
No, not a hypothesis. My reading, because this same week we had a deportation to Brazil, and it kind of made the news of Brazil because people got handcuffed, and I was thinking, of course they are being deported. What do you expect them to be wearing? Fluffy hair or whatever. And the thing that I saw, well, first of all, I think just by saying the words tariffs and sanctions some time ago, half of the world would be shitting their pants on Trump's words, just because of that. And there was some pushback. Of course, it was foolish. It was stupid. You get the map of South America. Colombia is one of the countries that are more dependent on the United States. Most of the countries now have bigger economic trades with China.
Mm-hmm.
Colombia is fully dependent on the United States still.
Yeah.
What I found interesting was the post that Petro put after. It was very melancholic, very poetic, all the very crappy, long. But one thing that called my attention was he's calling for Bolivarianismo and nationalism. And just one day before, I'll send you the link. I had an interview with a diplomat from Venezuela, and he sent me the newspaper from Venezuela, where Maduro and Petro, they were trying to get strategies together to fight the drug cartels and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at first moment, of course, it was stupid. He would never beat the United States. But don't you think that this could send a message to the Colombian people that, like, oh, crap, the United States is not our friends? Because in Brazil, this is the message that I'm seeing is being portrayed a little bit. And I have friends that are, right wing, not right wing. The technical term, I think it's U.S. balls leakers, but and
Yeah.
they are like, yeah, Trump, he showed muscle and stuff like that. But a lot of people is like, what's going on? Why is he handcuffing, engineers from Brazil? They are probably Uber drivers in the United States or something like that. Why is he doing that? And looking at the long term, don't you think that this is being a bad image for the worldwide? I mean, not inside the United States, but for the rest of the world.
Wait, let me see if I got this straight. You think that prior to Donald Trump coming in, that Latin America, that Central America, Mexico, South America, whether we're talking Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, that all these countries view the United States as a benign, kind Uncle Sam?
You would be surprised.
Is that what I'm hearing from you? Is that what you're saying?
You would be surprised.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Jesus, where have you been? Have you not been paying attention?
I'm going to send this to my friends.
The United States has been treating the Chiquito Morenos, the little brown people, like little brown people for, good God, 100 years, 150 years. So, Trump is just actually now sort of, let's call him the more honest manifestation of it.
Yeah.
In the past, the United States would pretend to, oh, would this be okay while we're running a coup, or they're trying to run a coup in Chile, or installing a military junta in Argentina, or in Guatemala, or in Honduras, or Salvador, please. So
you would be surprised.
If anybody's surprised about this, it's just they need to go back to school. They haven't been properly educated. Sorry, man. I didn't.
You are absolutely right.
I didn't mean to insult you.
No, not well. To a big part of my life, perhaps me, but not now. I'm not saying I am. I'm just saying that, you would be surprised.
Hypothetically speaking, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm a friend of a friend, someone asked.
Yeah.
No, I'm not kidding. You would be surprised how many people in Latin America, thinks that the best thing for Brazil, I would not say Latin America, I don't know that most of Latin America. The best thing for Brazil would be to be, dominated. Let's use the proper word, dominated by the United States, because the United States would bring progress and happiness and safety and all that to Brazil. I'm not kidding.
Well, look, there's no denying that when you get into the favelas in Rio, that it's dangerous. Well, so are the streets in Bronx and Brooklyn and New York, and in certain areas south side of Chicago. So the United States is in no position to lecture on Brazil on public safety when we struggle with the same issues here in the United States. There's stories today in the New York Post about passengers. They arrested one crazy guy who'd tried to push a woman into a moving subway train. She was, seriously hurt. And he's like, he didn't care. He gets, maybe put in jail for a few hours, and he'll be released and be back out on the streets. So my only point in that is the United States is in no position to lecture anybody in Latin America, in Central South America, about public safety. Now, Brazil, have you ever seen those, cartoons where they get a guy and they put a kick me sign on his back or hit me? Well, Brazil's got one of those stapled to its ass, okay? Because it's now part of BRICS. It is a number one target of the United States, of the Central Intelligence Agency. They're going to be doing everything in their power to destroy Brazil and its ability to participate effectively in BRICS. So just pay attention. That's going to be happening this year. Brazil is in trouble.